All right, we're back with Little Cup. Now, the astute of you might have noticed that I did not upload on Sunday, and that's because we're figuring out some technical stuff with the league. Basically, what had happened is there were three divisions, and each division had about 3 or 4 people drop out to the point where it was just very hard to run each division as its own division. And so what we did is we combined all three divisions to make one big playoff bracket. So that's why we didn't go up, is because we were doing some technical difficulty stuff. I'm going to try and get this one out as soon as I can. But we're coming in with a playoff, first round of playoffs. It is single elimination, so if you're done, you're done. I don't have as much time to hone my Little Cup skills as I thought I would, as playoffs is about 4 weeks before it should have been. But that's going to happen, unfortunately. So reasons I want to touch on that is just to give myself a bit of or to let you know why there was no video, and then also to let you know that you're going to see some dupe mons, because obviously they're coming from different leagues. You're going to see multiple mons. Like for this one, you can see we both have Wingull. Or you're going to see mons that have already fought. Again, different leagues, some mons are going to repeat. So without further ado, we're going to jump in here. We're going to look at my opponent's draft, like we always do. First things first, he's got Wingull. Now you've seen me use this thing enough times to understand why this thing's a problem. Hits that 19 speed, gets good coverage, decent special attack stat, gets stuff like Roost for longevity. So you guys already know this thing's good. Then we got Carvana. This thing has a disgusting attack stat of 90. I think I never actually checked if speed boost was banned. I'll get back to you on that in just a second. So to my knowledge, you can still have speed boost. There's nothing against speed boost. Which this thing hits 16 speed after one speed boost. That thing's faster than literally everything can be. So that's a bit of a problem. And then it has a 90 attack stat with moves like Liquidate and Crunch. So yeah, this thing is going to be a problem. We're going to hope that I don't get abused by it. And then somehow we managed to pick up Elekid in the third round. I don't know how that happened. But this thing has 95 speed, which means it is one of the 3 mons in the format that hit 20 speed, which is really unfortunate. However, Meowth likes to use priority moves, and because Fake Out is Fake Out and Feint breaks other priority moves, not too much of a big deal for me, but does get very scary sometimes if they have that 20 speed mon. And then there's Shieldon. This thing is just really fat. 118 defense, 88 SPDF. Only 30 HP, so not super bulky. But definitely going to be tricky to break through this thing. I have a bit of an unorthodox way on how to do it, but we'll see if we get there. Marini, we fought this thing before. This thing is decently bulky, gets Regenerator, can also be like Choice Scarf, Merciless, that thing that I've seen sets like that before. Gets Recovered, gets T-Spike. So yeah, basic Marini stuff to be worried about, basically. Then there's Quaxley. This thing pretty much does what Quackavolt does, but not quite as well. I don't think this thing gets Aqua Step, because I'm pretty sure that's a move it learns on Evo. It does still get Moxie, and it does still get all of the same ridiculous coverage. And by ridiculous coverage, I mean water. It's not. Oh, I guess it does get Ice Punch, eh? I guess it doesn't really have hands. But yeah, it's got Liquidate, Brave Bird, and Low Kick. And as we've seen, Brave Bird can be annoying sometimes. And then there's Diglett A. Again, we fought this thing before. It's just really fast, a really good Earthquake user. And especially on a team that inhibits a lot of my flying types, it's a good thing to have. Aracuda, I really don't know what this thing is going to do. It's not fast, despite Barraskewda being Sonic. Its attack stat isn't super duper high. For Little Cup, it's pretty good. But it's nothing like absurd, and it's not going to get any... And it still does get all of Barracuda's coverage. But realistically, when you have mons like Marini and what's his name, Carvana and Wingo, I don't really see much use for Aracuda, but maybe I'm wrong and it's going to come and abuse me. Snivy, I don't think, maybe we played against it, maybe we didn't. I don't think we got to it yet. This is a very good Choice Scarf Mon. 63 speed, so it hits, 16, I think it is? Yeah, it hits 16, and then when you Scarf it, it's the same thing with Carvana, right? Actually, no, it hits 17, my apologies. But yeah, this thing is really fast. It gets Contrary Leaf Storm, and if you're Choice Scarf, you only really need to click one button, and if you're Contrary Leaf Storm, you only need to click one button. So it pretty much just comes in and clicks Contrary Leaf Storm. Sometimes it has Synthesis, some, other grass moves, that kind of stuff. But 9 times out of 10, it's going to be Choice Scarf, Leaf Storm, Contrary. And then Applin. Oh, something in my throat. Hang on. Applin is just not a real Pokemon. 80 defense. Usually I'd say nothing to scoff at, but when you realize that's literally all this Pokemon does, it's pretty bad. I'd be very surprised if he brought it, but I mean, it's a 1-point Mon. He probably just had the extra point. It was like, yeah, let's grab this thing. So yeah, that's gonna be my opponent's team. Now we're gonna take a peek at my team here. It is going to look quite similar to last week's team, but I think I was onto something last week. So first things first, we have a Dragon Dance Axew. Now this is a little different because obviously I was Choice Scarf last week, but I think Dragon Dance is a little bad here because it gives me more agency. We are Outraged Tantrum for the Dragon Resists because they are both Steel types. Both his Dragon Resists are Shieldon and Diglett. Diglett's going to get obliterated. Shieldon will probably take one. And then First Impression, if I can catch something, and then obviously D-Dance set up. Meowth is a bit of a strange set. Fake Out, Faint, Water Pulse, T-Bolt. Fake Out and Faint, very standard. And then we have Water Pulse for Diglett and Shieldon. And then we have Thunderbolt for his 8 billion water types that don't die to Fake Out, Faint. Like Marini, I think Quaxley can live it too. So we do have Thunderbolt if we need to click that. Then we have a defensive Numel. This is the same defensive Numel that came previously. Eviolite, EQ, Stealth Rock, Willow Curse. And then a little more special bulk, but pretty much just mixed bulk. Because Elekid is a nuisance. So yeah, this is hopefully going to do well into Elekid. Then we have Qfant, who is hopefully going to wall a lot of stuff. I went really defensive here. Berry Juice for longevity. We are Sheer Force because we were using Stone Edge, and it just made more sense than Heavy Metal, especially when you factor in that a lot of his mons get low kick, so just putting more weight doesn't really make a lot of sense. Power Whip, Edge, EQ, just to hit everything, and then Curse if I ever get the chance to get it off. And then we have Mischief, Choice Scarf, very similar set to last week. I think I ran different coverage moves last week, but it is Intimidate to try and shut some stuff down. Crunch, play rough to hit the Carvana, and then if I'm in a position where it would make more sense to click one of the Fangs, into Wingull or into Applin if it decides to come, then those moves are there. And then, yeah, that speed stat's normal. It's the Starly that's speed stat's a little weird because it's Final Gambit, which is hopefully going to be an answer for Shieldon, because Starly does do pretty well into this team, but Shieldon is a really big problem, and if I can just immediately get rid of it with Final Gambit, that'd be awesome. And then it's just Double-Edged Brave U-Turn, really standard set, but it's only 15 speed because I wanted 22 HP to be able to kill Shieldon with Final Gambit. So that is the Starly set, and that is the team. And yeah, we're going to jump into the battle really shortly here, and we're going to see what happens. Hopefully we are able to pull out a win here, but we'll catch you in a bit.